welcome to my channel today. This is Style with Oma. Thank you to all my subscribers, and for the new ones, you're welcome. So on this channel I make sewing look as easy as possible. So let's get started quickly. What I want to cut here is a wrap top, kimono style. So it's going to be double-sided, so you can wear it either way. So in other words, it's going to be like a reversible, okay, reversible piece. So to do this, I need two different fabrics. So I'm using this English silk, and I'm also going to be using my lovely Ankara fabric or African print fabric. So for this top, you'll need about 2 meters of fabric, depending on your size. I think 2 meters will be just fine. So to start cutting, I'm just going to open up the old fabric I've got here. Okay, I'm not cutting my fabric bundle, about 3 meters there. So I'm just going to cut out what I need. So I'm just trying to see now which part is the front, which part is the wrong side. So when you feel it along the selvage, the part when you feel and you see is a bit embossed or a bit rough, that's the front. Then the smoother part is the back. So to start with, we're going to cut, I want to start by cutting the back of the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold sideways like so. I don't need all the entire length because the back isn't going to be a wrap. It's going to just be like a normal top with a continuous sleeve, right? So let's see how long. It all depends on how long you want your sleeve to be, and for you to be able to determine that, all you need to do is get your tape, measure from the middle of your back neck onto your shoulder, then to the sleeve. So I want mine to be about 25 inches, and so I'm going to measure 25 that way. But don't forget, we also need to sew a little, so I'm going to move it a little bit to be 26. Yeah, so that way I've got 26 inches. Right, so now I'm just going to move this so you can see everything I'm going to be doing. So the next thing I want to do is get the length of my top. So I want it to be about 25 inches. So I'm going to be doing about 26 or 26.5 inches, because for the bottom I'm going to lose some, for the top I'm going to lose some. So I'm leaving 1.5 inches for that. So once you get that, all you need to do is just cut out what you need, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so now I've determined how much fabric I need. So I'm just going to cut that out. So this first bit is for the back. Right, so let's do that first before we proceed. So for the back, what I'm going to do is the neckline. I'm going to be having 1 inch for the depth, and for the width I'm going to be making it 3 inches. Okay, or 3.5 inches is fine. So that's the neck. Right, so the next thing I want to do is to the end of the fold, I'm going to create a slope. So I'm going to make it about 3 inches, right? So I'm just going to connect the neckline to the shoulder slope. You can get a ruler to do that. So that I've done. You want to determine how much the width is going to be. So you measure around where your sleeve ends. So for me it's about 10.5. So to that I'm going to add 1. So instead of having 10.5, I'm going to have 11.5 or 12. So that's the width. Now once we've done that, the next thing we want to do is to bring this way. But before we do that, let's get our waist. So the waist from the top, I'm going to measure about 16 and a half. For some people 16 is fine, but I'm using 16 and a half for a size 14 top. So for the waist, 38, and for the hip, just the base of the fabric you've measured, I'm going to make it 45, right? So that's it. Then for the bust, normally for the bust I would measure from the top there. I'm going to measure to about 12, somewhere there. So for the bust it's going to be 42 or 44, it depends on you, but I will do 42. Okay, so when you shape that, I'm not going to come in here to make it really sharp. So you can just decide to make it a bit free, not too snug, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'll use the latter one because you're going to get a belt to tie around, so it's fine. Then this way I'll just connect and meet the sleeve like so. Yeah, so that's what I've got there, the shape of the kimono top for the back. Now it's up to you to decide if you want a dart at the back. So if you want a dart, what you want to do is leave some extra, yeah, okay, to create your darts. So you may want to leave a little more, okay, when you're cutting, then you'll be able to have a dart at the back. If not, you could just leave it like so and your belt will do the rest. So I'm going to cut, leaving about 1 inch or half an inch for sewing. So yeah, then I'm going to cut the neck depth and the slant. Yeah, so next, just trim this. I don't want the selvage, which is the edges of the fabric, coming in the way. Yeah, so that's, there you have the top. So now I'm going to go fold this apart, and I'm going to fold once again my fabric on the table to be able to get the front bit. So I'm going to repeat the fold the way I did the other time, and I'm going to fold this time all the way, because the front you need extra fabric to be able to cut the wrap. So that's my fold equally all the length of my 60 by 60 fabric. For a kimono top like this, you want to use everything you've got because the sleeve is a cut together sleeve. Right, so I'm going to place this over there. We don't need to go into all the measurement taking anymore. Okay, and let's see if we can get extra 4 inches to create the wrap. Yeah, this way, the kimono wrap. So yeah, 4 inches there. So that's brilliant. If you can't have that, you may fold your fabric a different way. So I have what I need here, but if I want more, all I need to do is push and reduce that a little bit, the sleeve, then I can get it. So I'm just going to cut using that as a base. So I'm cutting exactly what I've got here. Yeah, so I'm taking that off, and I'm going to follow the neckline as well, like so. Perfect. So now that we've done that, so what we're going to do next so what I'm going to do next is to create the neckline for the front part. So I need to get my chalk, and I'm going to do the last bit. So what we want to do is to measure Yeah, so I'm going to measure from there to there. So you just get like you take this, you fold this a little like that, and you just get this. You can get a ruler and you draw the line. Okay, so for me, I'm just going to, okay, so you can decide to go all down, or you can decide to just get to a point and let your be that way, the V, so it doesn't go all the way to the bottom. So for me, what I would advise is, it makes it easier if from this point you measure to your waistline, so about 16, and you end your curve at that point. Okay, so I'm going to do that from here, and I'm going to just, yeah, so I have my V, and this way I'm going to cut that, open that up like so. So you have that. So what I want to do next is just to create a curve at the base. So I'll take my tape and I'm going to take about 2 inches off the bottom from the side. Then I'm going to make my curve like so. So I'm going to get that, my scissors, and I'm just going to round the edges. Yeah, so there we have it. So at this point, I'm going to add a particular, what's it called? I'm going to add 2 strips of fabric. I'm going to sew, turn it over like a cord, and add that, so that attaches the sides inside for your wrap. Okay, so now I'm going to cut exactly the same, what I've done here. I'm going to cut that with the African print fabric. So you just watch while I replicate this same thing on the African print fabric. Yeah, so now that's the top. I've finished with the sewing. So all I did was to turn all around it, right side to right side, after stitching them individually. But the only part I left out was the arm, both arms. So from the arm, I was able to turn inside out. So this is the last bit. All you need to do now is to stitch this together. And to do so is quite simple. So what you may want to do at this point is you're going to fold this in 1/2 inch and fold this in 1/2 inch. And we're going to stitch that all around together, a tiny stitch, and your wrap is done. So when fixing your belt, like you can notice, I made sure the side that was similar sides were together and similar sides were together. And because it was quite a large belt, I folded this bit and this bit. So this, and I left this space in between when I was doing this. There's a space there, so I left the hole. So what happens is that the belt goes, this goes into there and comes out from the other side. So I'm going to go sit down and take a cup of coffee after the added job. So if you like my video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget you need to subscribe to keep seeing my videos as they drop. So bye for me.